Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush had some really good duels. Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10 video. In today's video, we are going to be going over the top 10 duels from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush anime. Now, this list was very difficult to make because there are a lot of high-quality duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, and of the 12 arc finale duels, I only have 6 of them in this top 10, and I'm actually omitting one season finale duel as well that just missed the top 10. So I'm sure in the comments there are going to be a lot of differing opinions. This was a very tricky top 10 to make because there were a lot of really good duels. And without further ado, I think we should just jump right in. Here are my top 10 duels from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush anime. I hope you all enjoy. Number 10, Kwai Duel vs. Yugioh Round 3, Episode 135. So you probably know me by now if you've been watching my videos for quite some time, but if you're new to the channel, you know that some of my favorite duels are the duels that tell a great story and give great exposition, as well as having really good dueling action, and I also love surprise finishes. And while I guess it's not confirmed that Kwai Duel won this duel, I think in everybody's eyes, he did, which was pretty surprising to have the main protagonist lose this deep into the story. But the element that I absolutely loved about this duel was Kwai Duel confirming the existence of the multiverse and putting Yugioh through a ritual, if you will, as he shockingly debuted rituals in this duel. And while I would have loved to know more about the multiverse, it's amazing that we actually got confirmation of it in this episode. And the whole duel where Kwai Duel is basically just ripping Yugioh for being weak and not being able to make decisions was really, really shocking. And you know that Kwai Duel is my favorite character. I think he's the best character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. So any duel we get with him is a treat. I thought the dueling action was solid, but I think the storytelling is really what propels this duel into the number 10 spot for me. Number 9, Yugioh vs. Yuumu, episodes 114 to 115. So I believe this is the only time we actually see Yugioh and Yuumu duel in a one-on-one setting, and it did not disappoint. Of course, the duel starts with Yugioh versing the quote-unquote Darkmeister, which we learn a little later on is Yuumu, but then remember, at some point in this duel, Kwai Duel actually takes over for Yugioh and ends up getting the win against the Darkmeister. I thought the storytelling in this duel was really good. Hearing Yuumu talk about why she had to become the Darkmeister and what happened to her after the season 2 finale was really, really heart-wrenching. And then, of course, Kwai Duel taking over for Yugioh and getting the win was something that not a lot of us saw coming, and I felt like this duel had a lot of twists and turns that were really cool. Remember, we didn't know that Yuumu was definitely the Darkmeister at this point. It was heavily theorized, so that reveal scene was really cool, and all in all, I thought this duel was a really, really good one, and I have it at number 9. Number 8, Yuumu vs. Yuna, episode 136. So another duel that was not an arc finale duel that I thought was really, really good. I have a feeling not many people are going to have this duel ranked as highly as me. It's probably my Yugi versus Pandora pick in terms of having an unpopular duel in the top 10 spot, but I'll defend this duel with everything I got. I thought the characterization of both of these gals that gave our main group, especially Yugioh, basically hell, was really great. It was a clashing of ideologies that I love to see. That's at the core of a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Conflicts. Yuumu felt sorry and guilty and resentful for everything she did, while Yuumu had no signs of any of that and was steadfast in her belief that getting to see Yugioh meant sacrificing everything and it was all justified. And Yuna throughout this duel even tries to compare herself to Yuumu, and I think that's what made this duel so fascinating for me. Like, yes, they both did really, really bad things, especially to Yugioh and the group, but it's what you do after doing those bad things that I think makes you a human being. Do you feel regretful? Do you apologize? Do you feel remorseful? One of these girls did, one of these girls didn't, and I loved seeing that completely boil over in this duel. Yuna ends up activating Time Machine, but it's not enough as Yuumu gets the win, and this duel also marks kind of the beginning of the end of Yuna's character, because while I loved her, I thought her conclusion after this duel was really, really poorly handled, but I would defend this one as a top 10 duel. I really loved it, and Yuumu Yuna is number 8 for me. Number 7, Yugioh versus Yuna, episode 20. So we get another Goha Yuna duel, and I will confirm this is the final Goha Yuna duel in the top 10. But man, this was the duel early on in Go Rush that I feel was kind of like the Nail Yuga duel in Sevens, in the sense that it really amped up the action and atmosphere in a really, really effective way. When Yuna used Sevens Road Magician as well as debuted an equip spell, we were all shocked, and that was the first inkling we got that maybe Yugioh was somehow actually in this world, which of course we would later learn that yes, he is in the world, and he would have a pretty big role in the show. On top of that, Yuna actually defeating Yugioh and giving our main protagonist his first ever loss was really surprising and had a lot of big impact on the story from that point forward, and kind of sent our main crew into a complete tailspin. This was a really, really good early on duel. It's one of my favorites from the first season, and obviously it's one of my favorites from the entire show, and I think deservedly comes in at number 7. Number 6, Yugioh versus Yugioh Round 1, episodes 12 through 13. This is not the last time we will be talking about the Yugioh rivalry. These guys dueled 4 times, and I think 3 of them were tremendous duels, including their first ever matchup. And I felt like in what was kind of a weird tutorial, slowish arc number 1, Yugioh was the character that really gave a sense of legitimacy to this show in the early going. The Yugioh rivalry was incredible. You know, at the main core of this rivalry, you had Yugioh, who wanted to use rush duels in order to end the war peacefully, and you had Yugioh, who wanted to use rush duels to completely obliterate and crush his opponent. This is the first time we got to see the true effects of the Earth Damar as well, and some of the action in this duel was incredible. Even though it's an Arc 1 duel, it deservedly should make the top 10 for, I think, a lot of people that watch this show, including myself, and we're not done talking about Yugioh and Yugioh. Number 5, Yugioh versus Yugioh Round 3, episode 98. So a little better than their first round matchup was their third round matchup, which kicks off our top 5. This duel took place under completely different circumstances as the first 2. The war at this point was settled. Yugioh and Yugioh were more allies than adversaries, but the issue that was going on was all the Valgyrians were slowly dying, and we didn't really know how to stop it. Yugioh challenges Yugioh, and some of the speeches in this duel were absolutely incredible. You quickly learn that Yugioh feels life has its purpose if it has an end. A life with no death means that you kind of serve this purposeless role, if you will, and Yugioh had a very hard time accepting that because he did not want Yugioh to obviously perish, even though it was inevitable. And something I loved about this duel was, of course, the ending. Yugioh gets the win against Yugioh. It's a pretty shocking win, as Yugioh had won the first 2 matchups, but Yugioh gets the win and has probably the most impactful death scene. I'm not even going to say probably, has the most impactful death scene in the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. It's an incredible moment. It's incredibly sad. Soul Galaxy is playing in the background, which is a little goofy, but that wasn't enough to take away from the impact of this scene and of this duel. Yugioh Round 3 makes the top 5. Number 4, Phaser, Yugioh, and Yuhi versus Yugioh and Kwai Duel, episode 75 through 77. Well, that was a mouthful, but yes, this is the finale of arc number 6, and going into this duel, everybody knew that something was going on with Yugioh. We didn't really know what, and Phaser starts off the duel against Yugioh before passing it along to Yugioh, and before passing it along to Yuhi. I loved the pre-planning and synergy that these three characters used, as they all utilized the same deck in order to get the win against Yugioh. But what I loved even more than the synergy on Team Phaser, Yugioh, and Yuhi was the reveal of Duel. We talked about him at the beginning of the video. Duel, to me, the best character in Go Rush, and it all started, or I guess it started in episode 2, but it was all revealed here in this duel. We learned that Duel was basically manipulating everything from the very start, obsessed with Yugioh, as his creator was obsessed with Yugioh, and Duel wanted to know why, wanted to learn how to steal the hearts of many, and so Duel takes over Yugioh without Yugioh knowing in this duel. And I also love that Phaser, Yugioh, and Yuhi actually get the win, because it made it seem like, oh, I guess Duel came and went that quickly, although the Duel space-time would be next, and we know that that wasn't the case. A really great duel in terms of action, deck synergy, and the Duel reveal, and it deserves to be at the number 4 spot. Number 3, Yugioh versus Otis Round 2, episodes 150 through 151. Well, if you told me at the start of this show that Yugioh and Otis would be concluding it, I don't know if I really would have believed you. While I always felt that Otis was going to be involved in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, as soon as we got Yuga's confirmation in this show, I didn't think he'd be the main villain, but I actually thought Otis was better in Go Rush than he was in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, although I still have some serious problems with him. But this duel in a vacuum is really, really good and deserves the bronze medal. Yugioh saying goodbye to the twins while this duel was going on, all of the songs that were used to just amplify the emotion and the stakes of it all, and the fact that Otis actually beat Yugioh, but thanks to the time-space glitching out on the moon, Yugioh was able to go back in time in order to change fate by summoning a fusion monster of him, Yuumu, and Yuhi's ace in order to get the win and change history. It's not often that we see new mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, since this is a franchise that has 25 years of experience, but that's exactly what we got in this duel, as we were flipping back and forth into the future, and I thought it was really, really good. Yugioh getting the win the way he did was awesome, and I love this duel. It's number 3 for me. Number 2, Yugioh versus Yugioh Round 2, which is the Season 1 finale, episodes 49 through 51. Yeah, this duel is one of the best in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, and if you have it as your number 1, I wouldn't even really debate you on it. The emotion of this duel was incredible. This was the culmination of 50 episodes, the entire Season 1 ideological struggle of Yugioh wanting to use Rush Duels for power and Yugioh wanting to use Rush Duels for peace. The stage of this duel is incredible, as both Valkyrians are dueling in space. We have a beautiful flower field scene with Yugioh and Yugioh, where Yugioh is finally able to get through to Yugioh on an emotional level by telling him that he always loved him. The dueling action between the new fusions, the new monsters, was incredible. Something I have a little bit of a gripe with: I don't always love when multiple duels are happening at the same time, because I feel it's easy to be taken out of one duel when going into another. That being said, Yuhi, Yuumu, and Yugioh were dueling on the side. That probably hampered my experience in this duel only slightly, because that duel I also felt was a lot of fun to watch. Maybe that's why I don't have this at number 1, but even still, having it at the number 2 spot, you know I love the duel if I have it this high. I could go on and on about this one, but Yugioh for the 3rd time is on this top 10, and in the top 6 more specifically. It's one of the best rivalries we've ever had in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I think this was the peak of the rivalry. Number 1, the best duel in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush is Yugioh versus Duel Round 2, episodes 88 through 90, the finale of the Duel space-time arc. The only way that Yugioh and the others are going to escape the space-time and eternal confinement is if Yugioh is able to defeat Duel. I loved this duel because Duel's deck was made up of variants and versions of the characters' aces and cards that were trapped in the space-time, but in this duel, Yugioh kind of uses a little bit of Uno reverse and is able to utilize the cards that all of his comrades have in order to defeat defeat Kwai-Duel. While the dueling action was special, seeing these two as giants was also really, really cool from an aesthetic perspective. The storytelling was magnificent. I actually think the conclusionary storytelling of Yugioh Kwai-Duel here was slightly better than Yugioh at the end of Season 1. Both are A+ tier, don't get me wrong, but I liked this just a little bit more. I loved the relatable feeling of Kwai-Duel feeling inferior to Yugioh, and then realizing why Yugioh is so special when Yugioh is okay with Kwai-Duel taking him over. It reminded me a lot of Yuma Vector from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, where Vector is trying to kill Yuma after their duel, and Yuma is okay with it. He's wholeheartedly okay with it, because that is what a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist is. Selfless and willing to do whatever they have to do in order to make as many people possible happy. And I loved that in this episode. So the dueling action was really good again, but the storytelling, the really ominous conversation we got at the end as Kwai-Duel was basically dying was really, really good. Basically just giving Yugioh a heads up that, hey, the Valkyrians are all doomed, by the way. You know, it was just a really good storytelling duel, and I feel very comfortable having this at my #1 spot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my top 10 duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. Whether you agreed or not, please let me know down below in the comments. I know this is a very kind of divisive list because there's 6 arc finale duels I left out. I left out the Rovian one, the Lug one, the Season 2 finale, which was, you know, Yuga, Yugioh, Yuhi, Uemu. So there were definitely a lot of good duels that just couldn't make it. That would probably be top 15 that I just didn't have room for in the top 10. But let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time with another top 10 list and another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. And I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.